Hey guys, I'm Navleen. I did the UCAT last year and scored 99th percentile. I last year was in the same position as you guys are right now, so I get how stressful it is, especially because UCAT is just as important as your ATAR. So I thought I might share some study tips and things that I found helpful in my preparation. Prioritizing UCAT is often your first struggle. I know it can be hard when you have all your school subjects to study for, but the best advice that I can give you is to essentially treat UCAT as another subject. And like all subjects, devote a specific amount of time to it each week because UCAT needs consistency. It's a different mindset, different way of approaching the questions, and you need to train that part of your brain. In this workshop, you're going to learn the skills and the strategies to use, and then you have to implement it and train yourself to use them instinctively. And then you have to polish it. That doesn't happen overnight. That takes time, but if you start now, you have time. Don't save up exams to do closer to the date of the UCAT because then school starts piling up. You have to prepare for trials and catch up on notes and revise, and then you have these exams that you saved up, and on top of that, the stress makes it all worse because there's so much to do and there's no time to do anything. So just spread it out instead between now and the date of your UCAT exam. You won't run out of questions. It's like a eureka bank full of them. Spread your exams out. When studying for UCAT, I basically did an exam, saw what my strengths and weaknesses were, and then did drills on my weakest areas. It's super important that you focus your drills on your weaknesses rather than aimlessly doing random drills, because ultimately that's the easiest area to improve in, because that's where there's so much you can improve on. Often it's just little easy tricks that can help you. Read the mid-entry section guides for that. They're very helpful. I know it's easy to think that a good score in one section can be compromised with a bad score in another, but last year, Western Sydney University weighed verbal reasoning so high, and so even people with such high percentiles didn't get an interview. So it's super important you focus on those areas of weaknesses, and I know you've all heard that before, but very few people actually do it because your weakest area is usually what you enjoy the least, but find some way to motivate yourself, some way to make yourself work hard in those areas, because trust me, that's ultimately what's going to pull you to the top. After doing an exam, MedEntry also creates a mini subtest personalized to you. Definitely do that. It's super helpful. Basically, it's just all the questions you got wrong in the exam. It's very helpful looking over it with a fresh mind. But what I'd say is the most important part of the whole exam process is reading the solutions of the exam to every question, even the ones you got right. It's a long process, sometimes even longer than the exam. But the whole point of making these mistakes in these exams is that when you come to your real exam, you'll know how to tackle those questions. And that only comes from understanding the process used behind the solutions. For the questions you got right, see if the answers use a different method to yours. Understand that method so you have more tools in your toolkit and you can approach more different questions. Sometimes you also just guessed questions right, so it's super important that you read the solutions for all the questions. If I can go back and change something, I wish I'd realized the importance of doing the exams timed from the very beginning. If you want to go slow and get accustomed to the question types, use the drills, not the exams. You'll see today how much time pressure you have, and your approach to the questions is completely different because of that. Piece of advice for you guys, something that I struggled a bit with, you have to learn how to move on. It's so easy to fixate on a question and just spend an extra minute or two to get that right answer. But in that time, you could have answered 4 or 5 other questions. You could have got 4 or 5 extra marks than if you just moved on. If you had just moved on. I know if it's hard, but if you don't get a question quickly, flag it and move on. You don't have that time luxury. Other than that, good luck to you all. A year ago, I was exactly where you guys are now. You might think it seems quite far out of your reach to get 99th percentile, but trust me, I felt the exact same way. So if I can do it, you guys can too.